Hello, everyone. Everyone who's at the back, please come here because now it's going to be one of the most exciting presentations ever. I'm joking. Yeah, high expectations are always good. But just before I start, I want to learn who you are. Can everyone who's from the public sector raise a hand? Who's from the public sector? All right. Who's from the business? From the business. Who is from the startups? 2 hands. OK. So a couple of the startups, most of the people equally divided between the business and enterprises. OK, I'll be giving you a presentation about the journey that this country, which is now a partner for this event, has taken to come where we are. But of course, I have to start with the most important thing because, right, we came here not just, to market ourselves, but rather to give you the most important formulas that we have learned. Digital is cool. AI, IoT is also cool. But it's not the most important thing in Lithuania. In Lithuania, basketball is the most important. And so this has been my whole life with my parents, my grandparents, and myself. So every Lithuanian living this world of the basketball, it basically learns 3 things. Thing number 1, this is a single global market. So in other words, once our teams are playing locally, we're not that excited, right? We're excited them playing globally. We're excited them playing Olympic Games. The same is with the business, right? It's not exciting, doing your business locally just in your town. It's exciting, to be European or the global enterprise. And this is where the whole market goes to. Second thing, it's not necessarily the tangible resources what makes sense. The leadership is the most important. As an example, our leading basketball team, it has a budget which is triple less than the competitors have. And my question, if we will pay them double or triple, will they play basketball triple time better? Most probably not. So it's not about the resources only. It's firstly about the leadership. And finally, although we are not the best exporting country in the world, like Germany, but we are very good at exporting basketball players. While exporting our basketball players to NBA, we have learned that this is not about how they were good in the past or how well they played back home, but this is about, how good they will be in the future. So think of the enterprises, think of the startups. It's exactly the same. It's not about, that you are small, but it's rather on the future prospect. And talking about the future prospect, actually, Lithuania did the first ever blockchain test. Although it was a human-minded blockchain test, but back in 1989, the independence chain of the people, it was the blockchain that was humanly minded. It has all the blockchain characteristics. It was decentralized, it was free participation, but it was unrevocable. So the country, which was known for the basketball, being one of the first European basketball champions, now it's known for much more than this. We are known for the infrastructure that was mentioned by our minister. We're known for the cybersecurity capabilities. We're known for the e-government services, Wi-Fi, running business online, and also having most of the latest in R&D in Europe. So altogether, there's a question, how did we get there? How this country, which was there with this basketball, all of a sudden it became a leading in this agenda? Well, we have to understand what's happening in the world. And the thing that back in the 90s, everything was working on the paper. So all the bureaucracies, all the enterprises, they did everything on the paper. But then in the middle of the 2000s, we got e-components facilitating business processes. So we got like servers, we've got internet pages, we've got many nice facilitations of our processes. But now what's happening is basically happening a digital transformation. It's absolutely new animal or the new way of doing things. And if I will elaborate, we in the country have many fantastic things like e-education, e-health, e-tax, e-justice, but all those, that means that they are E. E means electronic. That means that electronic components helping to run the old-fashioned process. So those together, they are all isolated as a separate connections. They're all having different maturity levels, and the most important, they just focus on themselves. So basically on the healthcare, they just care about the healthcare service providing. While with the digital transformation, we are aiming that this is now as a platform, which is based on data, it's open, it's scalable, and it's trusted and secure. So in other words, we are breaking those barriers between the different systems and joining them together to share the data and run as a platform. So we do that from the Ministry of Innovation, Economy and Innovation, having 3 agendas. Agenda number 1, it's about the smart society. And this is the most important one. A good example of what's happening with the smart society, there's this one program oriented to the kids. 12 years old kids are doing amazing things with microcomputers. Myself, at 12 years old, I was not doing this stuff. And what's interestingly, that this is not, just something only for the young generation, because we do not believe that this is for the future generations. We believe that this is for the whole society as it is now. So we have many programs like this, and they are directed to different segments. So from the old people to regional people to the kids. So altogether, what's happening in the country now is that the digital is becoming as a new black. It means that the digital is like a new fashion. Everyone wants to be part of it. Everyone wants to work for the startup. Everyone wants to be with technologies. And this, also applies to the public sector. In the public sector, there is no distinction, right? Because this is exactly where the transformation happens. And for this reason, we run a public sector digital academy teaching those technologies to the public servants. So number 2 on our agenda is, of course, the effective digital government. Because if you have this societal movement, you also have an expectation that the governments are efficient and effective. So in the government, last year, we celebrated 100 years of independence. And while celebrating 100 years, unfortunately, Germany didn't give us anything as a gift. So we had to make ourselves a wish. So we made a national pool. What can we give to ourselves as a 100th, birthday present? And out of everything Lithuanians can think, out of iPhone for every citizen or a nice trip to Berlin for every young person, we came up with 3 ideas. And idea number 3 was reducing bureaucracy through digitizing. So basically, society, out of everything they can imagine, they said, hey, we need digital government. Please do so. And this is a strong call. We don't know how that looks exactly, but this is exactly where we come together into the Digital Lithuania meetups to discuss what it is. Because honestly, nobody knows what it is. I mean, we don't know what is going to be after 5 or 10 years and how this government should look like. So enterprises, together with the public, together with academia, we get together regularly to discuss different topics. What shall we do? How do we transform the government? And altogether, we came up with this idea that we want to build our government as a platform that has a back-end office which runs on the governmental cloud, but the rest, through the data, being open to the society to create services. And I do not say open data, because open data is just, a small fraction of the techniques how to deal with the data. But we are talking about the wide and big data masses. So today, we are at the point where we have almost 700 different services. 600 of them are through the single portal. And then we have 81% of the citizens interacting with the government through the digital channels, and 97% of the enterprises. So we understand this won't happen overnight, but this is rather a roadmap. And where we start with the governance model, we come to the a rational programs optimizing our infrastructure. Then we get to the data culture, robotics and AI, and finally we come to the customer-first real-time conversation. We don't know what it is, but we understand that just like today, there is no reason why the citizen has to go somewhere to get the paper of something, because this can happen in real time, right? I mean, you can get the service from the government from your app, just like you make a money transfer without, long delays, long queues, and many other things. So finally, there's a third component, which is very important, especially in this convention. It's about the sustainable digital economy. With the economy, we understand that there's a legacy world that needs to be fixed, and for sure, every business does that well. But at the same time, we're approaching these new opportunities that the digital transformation gives to us. And we know that this is going to be based on the skills, it's going to be digital, and the digitization is just the beginning, because after you digitize, you start transforming your business models. And it's going to be on technologies and demands. And demands, they are not going to be constrained into one country. Digital economy is a global economy. You cannot block services just the country-wise, because even on EU, we have this single digital market regulation saying that this has to be a single market. So we are on this moonshot project, independently which country you live in, we are all heading to this new digital economy world. And I wanted to give you a few use cases, what we have done in the country. So first is about the fintech. And we have a healthy ecosystem of more than 170 different companies and startups that collaborate together on the platform as a fintech, where they test new type of financial services. We test new regulation in the sandbox. So instead of just jumping into the production, we get together in experimentations, and then we come up with those new processes. The second example could be also our industry platform, where the manufacturing companies getting together to discuss on three things. That's our knowledge, talents, and investments. Where do we put those? How do we handle this transformation that's happening in the industry as well? And finally, this is a GovTech Lab. A GovTech Lab is about making startups to disrupt the public sector. And I'm on purpose putting this picture with the people here, because behind all those initiatives, behind all those transformations, there are people. And so even like the GovTech Lab, it's also about the people who run that. So we emphasize this really, on all levels, that the people is the core of everything what's happening here. So altogether, we made our calculations on the digital economy of Lithuania, and we came up that this is now the fourth sector, but it's growing fastest. It's growing 40% in the last 3 years, and we see that in the next 5 years, it's going to be sector #1 of the country. So we understand that this is not about fighting the existing reality and having many initiatives to try what really works, but it's rather creating something new, something what really attracts people to join in. So it's not a top-down approach, but this is rather bottom-up. All right, so out of everything I just said, I want you to take 3 things out of this presentation. Thing #1, don't forget the basketball. So whenever you're in Lithuania, don't talk about digital, start with the basketball. Second, #2, this country is now really focused on digital services, fintech, and the GovTech. And finally, as I said, this is not just one country unique specific. This is rather the tech which is applicable to all the countries, like Germany, like Lithuania. So that's why we are here. That's why we want to collaborate and visit our camp over there. So thank you so much. And now I'm done with my presentation and can't wait for the panel.